Why don't I just jam into this? Not a bad vibe, huh?
Hey, I like it.
Yeah, not a bad vibe. Hey, welcome to the Steve Fusil Show. I am the one and only Steve Fusil, man. I am blessed, honored, privileged, and humbled to have a friend of mine here that I met. I don't know. Trent Cannon. Is that what we're going with?
That is correct.
All right.
That's
Is that official? Is that real?
That is my official.
That's an amazing official handle, man.
Yeah.
I knew a guy named Cadillac Williams. That was a pretty good name. Ain't a car guy.
Cadillac Williams Anderson. Is it Anderson? No, but Cadillac
Maybe.
Williams.
Cadillac
yeah,
Williams.
From Houston.
Yeah, from Houston. Yeah. So a little background on Trent. Trent is a digital creator, digital performance director. Is that right at Ford Direct?
I am the manager of product innovation is my title.
Ooh, God, that's way better than what I said.
That's what I said. I like that. Does it come with more money? They're like, no, you get the same
I don't know if
pay.
it does or doesn't. Yeah, I
No,
doubt it.
I think I get the same pay.
But here's where I get to get into some of your business is that former e-commerce director at the one and only Bert Ogden of Rio Grande Valley, former director at Clay Cooley Auto Group, former consultant at CDK
Say that
Global.
last one again, because that was my claim to fame is Clay Cooley. That's my man.
Is that right?
That's my boy.
All right, let's go back into that. Former marketing director for Clay Cooley. Is that better?
That's better.
Clay's your man. Tell me about Clay, man. What should I know about Clay?
Clay Cooley is one of a kind. People see the commercials, and that is him. But there's also there's a Christian side to him.
I love that.
There's a humble side to him.
Yeah.
But there's a drive in that man that
Sure.
It's hard to get up and have $300 million in net worth and get up every day and still come to a dealership.
You know what Marvin Hagler said, right?
What's that?
So Marvin Hagler said when he was training for, I can't remember who it was, Hagler Hearns, and they said, how do you, these guys are both wealthy for the time or whatever, and they said, how do you plan on beating this guy? And Hagler wasn't wealthy at the time, but he was an upcomer. He was the toughest guy on the planet. And he said, well, let me tell you something. It's hard to get up and do road work at 30-degree weather, waking up in silk sheets. Right? So, same thing. Right? Yeah. Nice. So, humble Christian. There's a drive in the man you were saying. Tell me about that, man. I want to know more about Clay.
Clay, he's a family guy, obviously. His son Chase is now taking over the store.
Right.
Talk to Chase occasionally, and he's actually a lawyer.
That's a smart thing to have your kid be.
Yeah. He's actually a lawyer by training. He's not like his dad. He's actually very doesn't react emotionally.
Yeah.
His dad can be. His dad's emotional. He goes on gut feeling. Chase will weigh things out, look at the data, and then he's got another son, Chance, who is a lot like his dad, and then just loves the business, loves being in it, and they have a daughter. I don't know a lot about the daughter, but she's all involved. So I mean, Clay was a salesman in the early '90s. He's a sales guy, and now he owns 12 stores in Dallas, which.
And what, 5 or 6 in Austin? That's best I know. Probably
none in Austin.
He sold Austin.
Yeah,
So he sold
Austin.
Nissan. Okay.
So it's just Dallas, but if you took I've heard, and I can't say this for sure, but I've heard that he had an offer between $700 and $900 million.
Oh, well, he could do better than that.
Yeah, I think that's what Clay said. I can do better than that. Yeah. So, but Clay's my man. He took a chance on me as a,
I love that.
Honest, I'm a young black kid from Houston, and he had a lot of other people that wanted to work for him, and he said, hey, I want somebody from the inside. I want somebody that's growing with me, and called me. I was with the Nissan Corporation at the time, and he said, I'd like for you to come back and take over the ship. So. He's one of the people in my
that's great, man.
in my heart. Yeah,
that's amazing, dude. You got to love a come up story.
Yeah.
What part of Houston did you grow up in?
Grew up in a place called Klein.
Okay, I know exactly where Klein is.
Klein, Texas.
Sure, I know right where it is. So I lived in Houston for let's see, 13, 14 years. I worked for Bill Monday out there for 12 of those. at the Chevrolet store.
Okay.
Started in 1960, moved over to 45, and we built the big store, and then worked for the Mazda store for a little bit. I got too big for my britches. I thought I was the big bad boy in the block, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to show you how bad you are. We're going to give you this store to go manage, and we'll see how good you are, And you find out what you're made out of, when you're at a Mazda store.
yeah.
Can you sell cars, baby?
That's a tough brand.
Yeah, it's a tough brand. But listen, the thing without you can't beat up Mazda because it's a great brand. It's just a tough brand to market and manage.
It
right?
is.
Yeah, it's a tough brand for that.
It's a tough. You don't get a lot of marketing support from the OEM,
right?
And it is hard. But a little bit about Klein.
Yeah.
Wesley Hunt just elected to Congress. Republican Congressman Wesley Hunt went to Klein High School, Bearcat. Okay. Graduated with me in 1999. And by the way, the current mayor of Houston, Texas, Sylvester Turner.
That's right.
Also happens to be African American. Graduated from Klein High School
and a Klein alumni.
Yeah, I don't know when he graduated. So is Brian McKnight and Lyle Lovett and a few other people. But but something about black folks from Klein.
You got to go it all. Well, listen, it's a neat place. I lived in Houston for 13 years. Spent a lot of time in the Heights. That's where I liked it. Mm-hmm. Eventually migrated up to the Woodlands. Mm-hmm. And then eventually just got out of there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
the 45 minutes in the neighborhood, 45 minutes out of the neighborhood was an oversell for me. I wasn't excited about it. The house was great. The neighbors were great. HOA was tough. And 45 minutes in and out of your neighborhood was a difficult task. So,
I got one more guy I got to mention. Rashad Woodfield.
All right.
Known as the Footwork King, is been featured in some, if you're follow the NFL, he's been featured in some NFL films.
Okay.
He's trained DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
A lot of big time running backs and have gone to his site.
A buddy of mine played football out there, and I can't remember if it was Klein or if it was Spring Klein. What was the other? There was Klein High School. There was Spring and the Spring Creek. All that stuff's right there.
Westfield,
yeah. And I can't remember where he went, but he went over there, and he ended up playing at U of H for a while, got hurt, and was a backup quarterback for them for a while. So fun stuff. Now I'll bring up another, let's say, blast from the past. Bert Ogden, Rio Grande Valley, right? Mm-hmm. What do you know about Bill Overstreet?
I don't know.
You don't know Bill?
Oh, well, I do know Bill. But me and Bill just used to tell me war stories, and I loved it.
Yeah.
He's Natasha's uncle, and taught me a lot about marketing and big data and everything. But then we had Facebook and LinkedIn coming. They were kind of coming up. We saw them. The strange thing, 2000, I think it was 4. I started hearing about this company called LinkedIn thing. Sounds good. And we're like, I don't know. We're working with huge, major, companies at the time.
Big companies.
Got major contracts, and we reached out to them, but never. We went bankrupt in 2010, and I went to a telecom place called Clear. If you ever,
I tell you, I've had a couple little breaks in the car business, but I was younger when it happened mostly, and but all of them were beneficial. But MCI, I was the second highest producer in their company at one point, and just in a call center, just slamming through the phone, and that kind of put me on a path to. We all have experiences that teach us where we're going and, feed into what our experiences are to give us, the tools we need to be successful in what we're doing now, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever that next now is. Mm-hmm. And, being forced on that phone room for 10 hours a day and just figuring out how to pay your rent over the phone was definitely something that got me there.
Yeah, yeah, my man. And went to a bank. That didn't work out. That lasted like a month. And, it was 2010. The employment was terrible, and a guy named Jeff Johnson was a recruiter in Houston for a lot of people know that name. Jeff Johnson was a recruiter for many dealerships and got recruited by him at I think Joe Myers Ford. And
Joe Myers, sure.
It started with 78 people. It was a 3-day course, and they started with 78 people for 3 open positions.
Wow.
For sales, right? And so you go to this 3-day course, and the first day, 20 guys drop out.
Yeah, drop.
Second day, another, he X is another 10, 15 guys.
Yeah.
And so ended up, it was like 18 guys or so. And we're all competing for these 3 positions for sales at Joe Myers Ford. And
that's wild.
Isn't it? It's wild. And so I get down, and I was in the final 3 or 5 or whatever it was, and interviewed and da-da-da. And he told me before I went in the interview, he said, listen, I'm just going to tell you, I've been watching you. You're probably a little too smart for this place. He says, I just want you to tone it down.
Tone it down.
Just, be real natural.
Just calm down.
Yeah, don't be. And then I was like, okay, all right.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah.
When somebody's telling you to tone it down.
Just tone it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, I'll try to be, tone it down. And it ends up I don't get the job. And I was driving home, and I called my mom, and she's like, did you get the job? I was like, I didn't get the job. I could tell when I was talking to this guy.
You knew it.
He was just like, this guy. Yeah. And so and then my phone rings during that drive home, and it's Jeff, and he says, hey, you didn't get that job. But I really, really liked you, and there's a guy named Eric King at John Eagle Acura that needs help.
Sure.
And sent me in the Acura store, and that's where my career started.
Nice.
Yeah.
You seem like you could be a nice Acura guy. You've got a good demeanor for a store like that.
Yeah.
I took a run at with some guys in Charlotte, North Carolina that are Dallas here. So I was an E-Lead rep, right? We discussed that, and so I met these guys through servicing that deal. And I took a run at a Mercedes store in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I learned real quickly that I'm a much better Chevrolet guy than I am a Mercedes guy. I'm loud, I'm boisterous, and it works there. It works everywhere. You know what I mean? Work is work, and I do the thing. But I just found that that when I'm talking to a guy about a diesel truck, I seem to work better than when I'm talking to a guy looking for an S63 for his wife. It just seemed to work better for me, but
it seems more used to.
It does seem a little more me. Yeah. Let's get in the back of the truck, jump up and down. Let's have some fun. People don't care about that in the Mercedes dealership. It's not something that worked out. It was all right, man. I tell you what I did love about the Mercedes store is that you learn what that CSI process really should look like. Right? When you're at a Highline store, whether you've ever bought one or you're selling them or whatever the case is, that Sewell line, that Park Place idea, the Lexus Las Vegas, wherever, when you're in those kind of stores, it's a different vibe. And I think what's good, and that's kind of probably what's being discussed this week. So for people listening, this is NADA, right? So everybody that's in the car business that has an idea is here, right? And there's probably a lot of those ideas about how to make those processes feel more like that Park Place, that Sewell for those CSI processes for these new car, stores and franchises and points than it used to be.
And that is what I'm supposed to be here to do, to listen to those ideas.
That's right.
For Ford. Park Place, by the way, shout out to my friend Kennedy.
Okay.
It's not Gibson anymore. It used to be Gibson. She just got married.
All right.
And had a baby. And she used to be director of marketing for Park Place. And she's one of the reasons why that place is what it was. And
really?
Sold for much.
That's awesome. Yeah. All the money. Yeah.
All the money.
All the money. Yeah. All the money. What? Tell me about your day, like on a regular. And I don't want your day to day, like your every day, but like, what are your responsibilities? What is it that you're bringing to the table for Ford Direct? Like when you're, who are your customers? What are your goals as a provider for that company?
Well, our customers are the dealers.
Right.
So every Ford dealer in the country is our customer. And my day-to-day responsibility is to bring products that integrate with their systems and are innovative, like they haven't seen. So I'm supposed to find the stuff that hasn't been built yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So my day-to-day is a weird day-to-day.
Okay.
Because when you're looking for something that hadn't been built yet, or not everybody knows about,
right.
and you really got to be looking through. You got to be looking under some rocks.
And you're gonna. I bet you see some. Okay. All right. Can I ask something fun?
Yeah.
What's the worst new idea you've ever seen without naming names, or name names that they don't exist anymore? Like, give me the worst idea somebody brought to you and said, "Hey, Trent, this is the thing that's gonna make the change," and you looked at it and went, "Oh, really?"
Man, you would ask me that.
That's my nature.
What is the worst idea you've ever seen? You know what? I haven't heard a bad idea yet.
All right.
Okay, I'm being honest.
I said, no, listen, that's a good answer
That's
because
a
no
weird-
idea is a bad idea. No answers are wrong. You're right. Okay. All right.
I can see where everybody is going. Now, here's the thing. I've heard some ideas that they can't actually execute.
Okay.
Like you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. But I was like, and then you ask like the follow-up question. Okay, so how many stores you're in? None.
Right.
Okay, all right. You ain't in no store. Okay, so how do you know
That this is going to
that
work.
this is gonna work?
Right.
Well, we just believe, and that's
Well,
you know.
belief's a powerful tool, Trent. Didn't your mom ever teach you that? I mean, belief's a powerful tool.
You gotta have one. You gotta have one store. You gotta have something.
You got to know one guy that'll let you try,
like
right?
One guy.
You got to know one guy that'll let you try,
If
man.
you're trying to get into car dealers and hey, listen, we know car dealers will try anything.
We'll let you in.
Yeah.
We'll let you give it a run.
I got 14 monkeys. All right. Now just hear me out.
Well, listen, you know the Suburban Auto Group, they had one monkey.
Yeah,
the trunk monkey.
That's why
you remember?
I said
Right,
it, yeah.
right. I mean,
I said that.
and here we are talking about it 15 years later. It's still the trunk monkey.
Yeah. Everybody loves monkeys, and then monkeys gonna run around in the lot. The customer hands them a slip. They run back to you, and they bought a car.
They bought a car, right? Little bonobos running all around with. Yeah,
All right,
that's a wild idea.
I don't know. Let me see it then.
Go close anybody.
Yeah.
And we'll give it a run nationwide, right?
All right. I was like, they did sell 10 cards from monkeys.
All right. So then let's talk about this. What do you? All right, guys, let's take just 1 second to thank our sponsor, Identity IQ, man. Identity IQ, I'm so thankful to these guys. They've helped me in my business, in my personal life. They've helped me at the dealership. They've helped many, 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 many others in the dealership space help pull credit and guide their customers to a service that'll help them monitor their credit. Steve, what do you mean, monitor my credit? I mean, you get all three bureaus with actual FICO scores every month as they update to your phone, on the app, through your computer, however you want to find it. But here's the main thing. All three bureaus are monitored with actual FICO scores available. Plans start at $9.99. You get insurance protection up to $1 million in fraud protection, guys. That's not nothing. Whether you're a millionaire, a billionaire, or you got nothing, right? You need to be monitoring your credit. Have you ever thought about buying a house? Identity IQ will help you monitor your credit. You ever thought about buying a car? Identity IQ will help you know where your credit is. You ever thought about getting a credit card bump or applying for your first credit card? Identity IQ will let you know where you are. They're the real deal, guys. Hit the link in the description. Don't worry about anything else. IdentityIQ.com will help you monitor your credit and get your life where you need it to be. Now let's get back to the show.
Yep.
What can you talk about that's innovative or forward that's coming to the table that what can you spill the beans on that you guys are rolling out?
Nothing.
All right.
Can't tell you nothing. All right, yeah.
I try to get in trouble, man. I try to get you in trouble.
Boy, I'm trying to get a check. What's today?
I want you to get a check. But I need a check too, brother. How can we share it? Yeah, how can we share it? We're sharing it now.
Here's what let me just tell you what I believe, because I am only one person. There are
great person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There are 15 more people above me and behind me that help make
absolutely
a decision. But what I'll say is, what do I think will come?
Yeah.
I think some video product. I think video.
Okay.
Video and social
Yeah.
are obviously where the market is
Right.
going.
Yeah.
I think I think there is a migration slightly away in some sort of way away from traditional websites.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean websites are going away.
Correct.
Don't-
Right.
Let's not mistake
But
that.
using that as the advertising or the mechanism to move inventory, cars, drive traffic to your service department, whatever the case may be, that there's a different avenue to use video and different techniques to create those ideas to get people to your places.
Like, and then Any Given Sunday. I think we both like that movie.
Love that movie.
You're picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen. You haven't seen. Well, you've seen my Uncle Savings commercials that I do for fun. Have you seen those? I'll play one for you later. I've got. Speaking of Any Given Sunday, I've got on the horizon the most epic 80s throwback slasher high prices commercial that you've ever seen. It involves me and a giant metal cutting saw, and I'm gonna slash high prices into two. I'm cutting prices in half. I'm gonna cut me a Suburban in half pretty soon. Mm-hmm. In the vein of Any Given Sunday, since you said it, I'll let you be the first to see it.
My man.
I like that fun, man. I'm not saying this is new age digital technology that I'm bringing here, but this is just straight fun 80s throwback. Cut a car in half for fun. That's a great way to spend a Saturday.
What was his name? What was Lawrence Taylor's name in that movie? I can't remember.
Oh, I don't remember his name. I was going to say Lawrence Taylor, but yeah, I don't know his name.
But yeah, you know.
The thing about Lawrence.
Hummer in half.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx's Hummer, whatever that was.
Great scene. Like, fantastic scene.
I'll tell you who's in charge of this team. Yeah. It's me, the defensive.
And the defense. And cut it out. Like, the scene actually made zero sense, but it's a great scene.
I think somebody just wanted to cut a car in half, right? Which is how I feel about it. I just want to cut a car in half.
Oliver Stone's a great movie maker. But back to where we're at. Yeah, I think video and social are like, if you got a video on social, I'm listening.
Right.
What you got social?
Right.
I'm listening.
Right.
This is where what you're doing right now is where people are going.
Right.
I think they're tired of traditional TV. I think they're tired of traditional advertising.
Right.
I think they want something new, and I think YouTube TV and
mm-hmm.
all the different avenues out there, TikTok and going live. TikTok's now got live. All live streams. I think that's where the next generation will be. It will not be on ABC, NBC, and CBS.
No. I think our customers are changing. I mean, obviously, it is definitely changing generationally. And so shifting from the models that we have, like Ford's got some interesting concept of how they want to, he's spoken about, the ideas, your CEO, about what they'd like to do inside the showroom floor in some ways, mm-hmm. Taking out some of these ideas and mm-hmm. going the Elon way, mm-hmm. Direct to consumer, which, I think there's a place for everything. And there's, enough room in every market for everybody to do everything, right? It doesn't mean it's for everybody and that it's going to take that, but maybe it does.
Yeah.
Maybe it does.
I think what Jim Farley has done. A few people have criticized. I think he's I think he is the smartest person in the room. I think he realizes that he has an advantage with dealers over Tesla,
right.
And that is Ford's advantage. We have dealers,
right? We
have service centers,
right?
We have salespeople,
right?
Nobody is talking about getting this thing. Oh, we're going to get rid of all stuff. No, that's not what we're talking about.
No.
No, we're talking
simplifying the process.
We're just talking about making the transaction easier.
Right.
Can I give you a quick example?
I'd love to. Yeah, okay. Please.
My wife is literally looking for a Lincoln Aviator right now.
Okay.
And I let her go. Like, I don't like when she's looking for a car. The last thing I want to do is like, hey, go get this one from my boy. Right. That's don't do that. Don't do that.
Let her make her own decisions based on her ideas. That's why you have a happy marriage, my friend.
This is one of the reasons why I have a happy marriage. I'm also good at basketball.
That helps.
But she wanted a Porsche Macan. Okay. And she started Porsche Macan. She went and looked at Macan. Macan's too small.
Okay.
Went and looked at a Genesis.
Genesis the G80 or whatever.
The GV70.
It's a cool truck.
Very cool SUV. Yeah. Backs up by itself on the
Very
key.
Cool. Very sexy. Very sexy.
I was impressed. I was like, how much? $54,000. I was like, oh, hello.
They come a long way from that Hyundai Excel that I was selling in 1994, buddy.
I give it to Hyundai. I'm tipping my cap, Jose. Great job.
Amazing.
You were doing great things. But still, she didn't like some of the reviews. There's some. It's a brand new car, so there's some quality issues.
Right.
She's the brand new one's $54,000. She doesn't want to spend that much, and so we want to be in the 40s.
Okay.
And so Lincoln Aviator.
Right. Great fit.
Right. It's all the marks.
Yeah, it's in the family, all that. It's good to go. Yeah, Ford family, let's roll.
Calls dealership. Goes on all the Trader finds one. I think it's 2021. Used. In the right price range. Bam, calls dealership. Dealership immediately respond. Not only does the dealership immediately respond, happened to be somebody I knew.
Okay.
Salesperson.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah. In the Rio Grande Valley, a salesperson at a Ford dealership that you know.
No,
With Lincoln.
No, it wasn't. It was actually in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it's like, Trent Cannon. I know Trent Cannon, you know. Salesperson does great. Excellent job.
Okay.
Hang up phone. All right. Car is being driven, okay, by they have a partnership with a major sports team.
Okay.
And one of the players is driving
the car. Sure.
Right. I understand.
Perk of being a player.
Sure. Perk of,
Right.
Right. And they're like, yeah, but it's going to be back on Friday. All right. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be here Friday, but, fine.
All good, right?
All good. Hey, let me know when it gets back. We'll talk about it. What happens?
You asking me?
I'm asking you. What happens?
All right. Car's wrecked. Car's filthy. Car's beat up. They don't call back.
This Tuesday. We called Tuesday.
Okay.
All right. This just happened. She hangs up the phone. We're good. She gets another call about an hour later from a different salesperson.
BDC or sales?
That's where
the question comes in.
I pick up the call. I'm like, so you BDC or you sales? I'm a salesperson.
First question. But they'll tell you that.
Yeah, they'll tell me that.
They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that they're salespeople, and it's like,
salespeople.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And I'm like, well, I already talked to the X, Y, and Z, and this person is still trying to sell the car.
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm trying to figure out, because now I'm in my wheelhouse.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell happened?
Right. I know this.
How did this happen? And I was like, oh, she called Auto Trader and made a copy of the lead, and then it was routed to a different cell. And my wife's looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, I know what happened.
I know it.
They have routed the lead. We called. We didn't send in the lead, and it is routed to another salesperson. This is terrible.
But that's the CRM business. That's how these things work.
Right.
It's awful.
Right.
It's awful.
And now she's confused. She's like, well, is the car really there? I'm like, no, the car's not there.
Right. Right.
The other salesperson already told us it's not there.
Right, because they don't know.
Yeah, but but you have to. But then now I'm involved because I'm like, no, don't get confused. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. They just want you to come in and drive 4 hours from McAllen to San Antonio for no reason.
Right.
This doesn't make any sense.
Right. And they're willing to let you do it.
And she was going to let us do it.
I know.
Without even checking.
I know.
And my wife might have done it. And I'm like, no.
Ooh, can you imagine?
Had I drove 4 hours, Steven?
If you were telling me this story, I'd be laughing so hard right now.
I drove 4 hours to San Antonio with the things I'm dealing with right now.
I'm telling you, man.
I got to fly out Thursday. I'm driving out Wednesday real quick to buy a car.
That doesn't exist.
And ain't no damn car.
Right. That'd be pretty upsetting.
Steven, I would.
It'd have been a thing.
It'd have been a thing.
It'd have been a thing.
Hold up. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Then, text message.
Okay.
From different person.
Okay.
I realized this quickly. This is AI.
Yeah, it's a robot.
It's a robot.
Right.
Hey, dude, we just want to make sure that we took care of your. And so, but again, I'm letting her take this, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, this is frustrating. Don't answer that. This is another thing.
It's a robot. It's a thing.
Doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
And so then I put myself, and I was like, I realized I'm gonna call this dealership on Monday. By the way, and I'm like,
I would imagine.
I'm like, I realize why you don't know why your customers are pissed off, because had I lived in San Antonio, if I lived on like North San Antonio and went over to this dealership and that car, I'd be pissed. I don't care if I'm 4 miles away.
Yeah, if I'd have drove 4 miles away, I'd have been pissed.
I'd have been
and listen, it's happened to the best of all of us on a whim. The car was there an hour ago. You don't go check whatever, and then all of a sudden it's moved, or whatever the case may be. It's happened. But that's a thing you got to know, and a thing you got to check. And I mean, it's just. So let me ask you this. I want to go ahead and finish your story, and then I got to follow up for you. Go ahead. I want to hear this. I'm sorry.
But then I realized I've helped create this problem.
Right. That's getting to my question.
I have helped create this over follow up, over analyst, over analyzing and say that you need AI and you need this and you don't, because your people aren't doing what they're doing. When action fact, this person did their job, handled it perfectly.
That's my question, is that are some of these systems, and I've seen this operating in BDCs and developing BDCs and working with these companies, building BDCs and all these other technologies that, we build out in these stores, these systems, these backups, these backstops, all these things. And the turnover in the car business among the management, turnover in the car business amongst the salespeople, especially at some of these bigger high volume stores, right? A Lincoln store or a small family store, you get less of this, obviously, and probably better follow up and probably better management of these systems. Yeah. Because you have people that are there that have more opportunity to buy in for longer term to really understand the systems because they're complicated. Right? I mean, these systems are complicated. They all plug and play, et cetera, et cetera. But the reality of it is it's complicated. Because like you said, a lead comes in, that thing didn't get marked correctly, or it's got a timer on it, and she was on the phone with your wife for 32 seconds longer than she should have to log that phone call because she was engaged with the customer. And so now it's going to the BDC, and now that's on a round robin, and now the AI robot, and all of a sudden...
I want to shake your hand right now.
Yeah.
We'll reach across the aisle.
We'll reach across the aisle, my friend. We'll reach across the aisle.
You're talking about what I'm talking about.
But the question comes back down to this, and you said it, but what if we played a game and say, hey, let's quit playing all these games and go back to an old method of management where people do their jobs, right? And you follow up with some of these simpler systems, and these leads belong to these people, and we hire accountable people to manage these things, train them effectively, right? Create solid, accountable salespeople to do their jobs, and then some of these systems go away.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. Right. Let's go cut a car in half together.
we still need the Frank Lopes of the world.
100%.
We still need the Joe Healy's and the I'm trying to think of another trainer. Zig.
You need the Zigs, you need the Grants, you need them all because they all played into our lives.
At least Gephardt. I was trying to think of. At least Gephardt.
Okay.
I'm not talking about Grant Cardones and the Zig Ziglars. I'm not talking about the hype up. To me, we're beyond those people. Yeah. The guy who's kind of taking that over is Andy Elliott.
Yeah.
Andy Elliott is taking over the hype game.
He's got the hype game.
That guy's the hype game. All right. If you want to get your guys hyped up. Right. I was talking to Darren Dortch today. He was a great operator here.
Yeah, he's a great operator. Shout out to Toyota Dallas. Yeah.
Toyota Dallas, but also oversees West at Way Ford. And
I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was unaware of that. Okay.
Yeah. The guy is top notch, and there's a reason why he's BHA's guy.
For sure.
His store is not the easiest store to run, like some people think. It's not in the best location.
No, it's not in a good location at all. 20 years ago, it was a good location until they built that freeway over the top of it, and it's impossible to get to.
I don't know. I don't know what I can share about what he said, but they make more phone calls than probably anybody else in the country.
I've called them. I know.
Yeah.
I've called them. I know. I've called hundreds of stores on mystery shops, on follow-up ideas. I like to know what people are doing. And so I hate wasting salespeople's time, but at the same time, I like to know what's going on. I've made a lot of calls, and they do make a lot of calls. They'll follow up.
So, and I stopped by a store as soon as I got into town, and there was a sales meeting going on.
Okay.
And they were pumped up raw.
Yeah.
And we talked for 45 minutes, an hour, and they said, all right, got to, get it going. They had another sales meeting. They were pumped up. The guy, he's like, I got to go train.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't need to do anything.
Right.
He doesn't even need to be in the store.
Right.
But that's his mind and focus, and that he's still a people person.
Right.
He's still, this is, blocking and tackling.
That's
this
it.
Is what we
X's and O's, baby.
What we got to do every day. So here's what I do think, though.
Okay.
I think BDCs can be way more powerful than they are. I think there's some sexism, to be honest, in our industry.
Okay.
And we think that the girls that answer the phone can't do what the guys that are on the lot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And talk like they can, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. That girl could probably do it way better than Krusty the car dog over there in the used car department. I guarantee that.
This happens all the time, and I hate this. Here we got Steve, and I'm use a different name. We got Bobby.
Hey, folks.
We got Bobby that came from T-Mobile 2 weeks ago.
Right.
All right. And, there's a question for Stacy about interest rate. And Stacy's worked for our dealership for 4 years.
Right.
She's sitting in front of the computer all day she knows everything about every car and this and this and this. But when it comes to interest rate, we're gonna give it get Bobby over there who's been with us for 2 weeks to answer the interest rate question, because Stacy is not capable of handling payment or interest rate questions. Like, who told?
She can handle everything else but that.
Who told people that? That's where we get. Who told people that?
Well, on the last podcast, I had a guy named Dan Dillingham on. If you don't know, you ought to know him. Dan's a great guy. Works for Dealer Alchemist right now. They're doing some interesting stuff in the marketing space.
Let me just say this real quick.
Go for it.
Dealer Alchemist is one of the best I've seen.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. Yeah, they're fantastic.
Lisa Gerner, I can't. I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name, Lisa.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Mike
Sean
Watson, Candace Birch is over there. Some old CDK people. They are. I have seen it personally, firsthand.
As have I. Yeah. Yeah, they're top notch. Yeah, their systems are in place. The things they say that it'll do, it does, and then it's up to you to have the right inventory and roll it. And then imagine this, then the right people to answer the right call and manage the lead effectively.
I'm ready to go sell cars.
It's wild, bro.
I'm ready to go sell cars right now. Let's start a dealership right now.
Let's go. I love it. No, but I tell you the thing, like those are systems that are in place that are valuable, because those things bring lead generation. They bring customers to the table. And listen, customers want to be brought to the table. Mm-hmm. Customers want to buy nice things. Mm-hmm. I mean, I asked Dan yesterday, we were talking, I said, do you think people hate car salesmen? And I'll ask you the same thing. Do you think people really genuinely dislike car salesmen?
Yes.
Okay.
I was one, I remember.
I know. Right. But the question is is it changeable, right? Like, do we get to get off the lifeboat last? I mean, not last anymore, right? Because it's like everybody else, lawyers and then car salesmen. You guys are last to get off. What's it take to change that? It seems like we've made all these processes and progress to try to change that with CSI, with the directions of the deliveries, with all the things that we do, the customer service. What's it take?
I think people dislike car salesmen mainly because, and it's not the car salespeople's fault. Yeah, it's because the system forces car salespeople to lie,
into combat and into lying.
It forces them into non-transparency.
Sure,
nobody wants to not be transparent. We all, this is the price, and this is your credit, and you come in and you buy it for this. That would be great. And the last 2 years have kind of been that way.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
It's changed.
I wish I worked in car sales the last 2 years.
I bet you did. Yeah. Hey, easy money, baby. Easy money.
This is the price. If you don't want to pay us, sure, we can hang up the phone now. The Badger. I got customers waiting. If you want it, it ain't gonna be here.
It ain't gonna be here.
It was fucking true. It was true. It was dead to rights.
Yeah, but it was true. Right.
I got a call from a good friend of mine, Louis Gonzalez. I love you, Louis. I'm gonna call you out, Louis. Louis, he lives in Houston, calls me, and he's like, "Yeah, we're looking at a Corvette, and they said that someone's looking at it, and they sold it. They said they sold it right from underneath us." I was like, "They did."
Yeah, they meant it. Yeah, right.
He said, "If you don't come here today,
if you don't give me $2,000 over the phone right this minute, it's not going to be here when you get here. By the time you get in your car, it might not be here."
And it was true.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it was true, man. And we were part of what we're discussing here is times are changing, right? Pandemics. Everybody's got their own feelings about that, and that's all fine, whichever way you lean on that. But the bottom line is that the world did change for 2 years.
It did.
And now it's got to shift itself back, right? It's almost like we went through some kind of weird puberty or something, and now we're trying to learn how to be adults. I mean, it's kind of a weird way to look at it, but it's like now we're in these growing pains of like, well, what does all this mean in the world, right?
Yes.
In our business, for the salespeople, and something we're talking about training with like Frank Lopes and all these things. A statement I made yesterday, and I'll make it again. There's guys that have been in the car business right now for 2.5 years that are green peas.
Yeah.
And they're making $150,000 right now. But that's going to change.
That's changing right now.
That's what I'm saying. As the inventory fills up, as the interest rates hike, now we're going to find out what kind of salesman you ever were. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I think still gets down to the fundamentals and what's important. And that's the blocking and tackling, the doing the right stuff, being innovative in the right ways, not expecting systems to sell cars for you, but people sell cars for you. and manage your employees effectively, man.
Yep.
You know, that's the key. Listen, I want to be respectful of your time.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. It's been a pleasure having you in here, man. Is there anything that you want to shout out or anybody you want to say hey to or anything that you want to do before we go? I'll get you a camera so you can do it. If you want to look into this bad boy right here, you can say whatever you want within no reason.
Come to Steve's show. Talk about the business.
I love that.
The guy is. We all start somewhere, but I have a good eye from when somebody's gonna be something. Guy gonna be somebody.
I appreciate that, man. That's really sweet of you. Thank you, bro.
My man.
I feel the same way about you, man. Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, brother. Well, let's end this thing, man. I'm gonna give this another shout out. I'll peace out and let's go.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
That was fun.
Yeah, man.